And good morning. Happy Sunday to you people in the West. It's currently 12:47 a.m. where I'm at, but I'm just going to be here for like an hour or an hour and a half just to have a little discussion concerning a very controversial topic. And even in light of the Roe v. Wade situation, I don't know much about it. I mean, a good friend of ours, pro life Chloe, could explain that to me. And if she's watching, maybe she could fill us more on the Roe v. Wade overturning situation. Anyway, so yeah, open discussion on abortion. To give you guys to lighten your hearts, I am a pro life. I am against the idea of abortion. I think it's morally reprehensible both by Christian and secularist standards because uh, today they are doing their best to dehumanize the. They're doing their best to. Clubhouse is calling my attention. They are doing their best to dehumanize the human fetus, even though we know it's developing and it will potentially turn into a full, a full grown, a human rather. Sorry, before it will potentially turn into a baby. Even though, even though it grows hearts, it grows a brain, it grows some lungs. I mean, even in the first stage, a neural tube is already being developed, and it grows arms and it grows legs. I mean, if it grows, then it should be a living thing, right? I mean, can't apply it to the rest because that would have some implications. But yeah, if it grows, then it must be a living thing. And why I say that is that you have people wanting to save plants. You have people wanting to preserve the egg of an eagle, and they would rather focus their energy on that rather than saving a baby or a human fetus. So, like, plants deserve life, animals deserve life. What about a human fetus? Oh, it's not really a human. And I consent to 3 months before, after 3 months, we don't kill it anymore. Really? I mean, don't you know that all humans are bred from that same process? It doesn't make sense, really. I mean, I don't know how you think that making parameters gets you around the fact that life begins at conception. Well, until 1969, actually. I mean, nobody knew when life began until 1969. I mean, our biology books have that one, so you can't. There's no way to get around it. So the only thing you'll have to do is try to change the literature. But then again, that is the beginning of life, just waiting to come out of, the mother and to be cared for. And in the Christian perspective, I mean, on my reading on Hosea, progeny is a thing celebrated both by the Israelites and by pagan nations. Although I can't say the same for the Amalekites and the Canaanites, since they make it a thing to sacrifice their newborn babes into burning hot slazes. But yeah, progeny was something celebrated. Why? Because whenever a woman was with child, they were somehow, in a way, they were deemed special. They were privileged, and it was good news for tribes all around for saying, "Hey, another. It's we're going to have another us," or "Hey, we're going to have one who will." I mean, we actually have a future for our for the survival of our clan or tribe. So progeny was something actually so progeny was actually something celebrated. Speaking of which, hello, Jill. I watched your premiere on David Anthony. Yeah, Dave. I mean, I would say that David Anthony is just a duplicitous nudiscripturian. He eisegetes into the text, and he thinks he can. It's like, I mean, all I've heard was like, I know God's words univocally. I know what the way He knows it Himself, which is not the case, right? Because if I mean, you're right about one thing. I mean, the Bible was never concerned with making it clear for us. I mean, it might have been clear for those of the culture since there was this play of language, but the Bible was never concerned with giving us language that would be clear to us. But it would speak in parables. It would speak in metaphors to give us the idea of what it's trying to make. More on it's more on bringing us to the point, the theme or the idea of a verse. That is why you even have Jesus saying, if you don't understand these parables, then you probably don't have the Spirit with you. I mean, even the disciples had difficulty trying to decipher these parables. So even by that, even by the difficulty of the disciples, we know that David Anthony is just a duplicitous liar and an incompetent theologian, where he thinks that the Bible does concern it, making it clear to us. Well, there are some verses that are self-explanatory and it's clear by its surface, but not all the time. Because I mean, there are instances in the Bible where, other than the parables, it said, I mean, for example, sayings in Proverbs. How do I put this? It was about oxes. Hang on, I need to pull that up. Oxes. Yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna attempt to pull that out, but a good example, rather, would be the dreams that Daniel interpreted for each king. So yeah, we couldn't know what the goat is. We couldn't know what the ram is. Like, what is this goat? What is this statue with different layers of material and precious stones supposed to be? What is it supposed to entail? Like, yes, you have these unclear. You really have these vague, unclear scriptures where it will in it will rather have you it will have you spend moments, and it would have you spend time trying to figure out what it means. You even have sayings like Solomon where he says, the end of a thing is better than the beginning of it. Or you have something like, um, sorrow is better than laughter. And then it would even have you say stuff like, what does that even mean? Right? But we thank God for really smart people that, under His good pleasure, He actually worked with them. Disciples, Paul, early church fathers, people with great minds as to decipher an old dead dialect, and the dark sayings and metaphoricals of the on the Old Testament and the New, um, done by very good scholars, and gave us their English expositions, showed us how proper exegetical should be and how it should be done. Anyway, so going back to the topic, yeah, I think abortion by itself is reprehensible, and I already stated that a while ago. Like in the case, I mean, if I'm going to talk about it in secular by secular means, I would say that I mean, even today, for you to assert the case that the human fetus is not a human after all. So I mean, today there are the left is trying to dehumanize or belittle human value upon a developing human fetus. That's not a human; it's just a clump of cells. Whereas, whereas we know that everybody knows, well, not until 1969, that life begins at conception. And in a Christian point of view, I mean, life is precious to God, and before the womb, He knew us. And yeah, commentary reading in Hosea tells me that progeny is something indeed celebrated. Now, I brought this to Jill's channel, this moral dilemma. All right. By the way, guys, link is in the side chat. If you want to come in, feel free. So I had this moral dilemma between between a dying mother and a dying fetus. Right. So I need you guys to pay attention to this one. So you have a dying mother and a dying babe, right? And the doctor told her, um, "Listen, Mrs. O'Hara, um, it appears that your pregnancy is contributing to your condition, and it gets critical each time you sustain this child, uh, by way of your pregnancy. And at the same time, your condition is also has also brought it also brought your child to a state where, upon delivery, he will be stillborn." So in that moral dilemma, I had to choose, like, even as the doctor, like, so doctor, what do you suggest I do? What do you suggest we go through? And as the doctor, I'm left with two things: either I deliver the deliver either I deliver the on this either I deliver man I can't talk right now either I deliver the stillborn babe, or I save the mother. Now, when it comes to pro-life, we're not just saying that abortion is morally reprehensible, but as pro-lifers and as Christians, we believe that it's better to preserve life. That is the major objective, moral prerogative there. So, if I were to save this the babe who will be stillborn upon delivery,
then they both die. No lives were saved. But if I save the mother, in which I choose to do, I would rather save the mother. It's because the mother could be the mother could have had the mother could have a husband. It may have siblings. No, it may have three children, or it may be a kindergarten teacher by their who is loved by her students. And tragic state of affairs, sure, the baby will die stillborn, but in there we save a life. Now, does that mean that I value the mother's life over the baby? No, of course not. In light of the situation, if I don't save the mother and I deliver the baby successfully, they both die because, as I've said, the baby is brought to a condition where, even though by successful delivery he would have died. But if I save the mother, then the only tragic state of affairs is a But stillborn babe. But sadness and sorrow of the husband and the pre-existing siblings uh, would be spared. Hello, Lady Evan. Thank you for coming. Yeah, just giving my thoughts and just giving up my thoughts here. Reprove and rebuke. Their argument has now shifted to their made-up philosophy. It's not a human being. Well, whenever they tap into the word being, they are now trying to get into the essence of what is a human. Right? The essence of a human exists. I mean, the essence of a human is that of a higher what constitutes beyond their existence. Like, to tap into the word being, you're trying to decipher or define what it is, and what that is not the same of that it is. Now, that makes a human being is what? It's got four limbs. uh, Men have dicks, women have vaginas. uh, we both have nipples, but women have the structure of nipples, and the nipples of the woman are different. We speak, we sneeze, we fart, we crap, we think. Where we don't, I mean, we both have instinctive and rational intelligence. Like, I could never, I mean, those are only me defining a human being for that it is, its existence. But for me to define what a human being is, that would be at a very different spectrum. I can only relate to what a human being is of that it is. So the essence of a human being exists beyond its since exists beyond its exists beyond the tangibility of what we see, or by its base, or by what we basically apprehend. All right. And it's really funny that in some small way, I'm not speaking for all liberals. I mean, the liberals do have a reputation for supporting abortion, right? But and I don't speak for all liberals. But what has been demonstrated is that the liberals are dehumanizing a babe. And yes, you're right, sir. You're right, Joe. It's not a human being. So they dehumanize a developing fetus, right? And then they will, and, it's really funny, right? they will come up with some bullshit argument that goes along the lines of, "Don't you think you're killing life by masturbating?" Like, do you know how? I mean, that just sounds so stupid. It's like saying menstruation is murder because the egg has to be excreted from the body because it's no longer of any use. So are you literally murdering life? Is the woman literally murdering the life of an egg cell? Do you actually count that as murder? That is a biophysiological response of the female body. Masturbation is murder. Really are I mean it just sounds so stupid to even say it. Like, are you I mean this is a bait I mean this is like a very abased comparing apples and oranges kind of it is a very abased apples and oranges kind of shtick, dude. Like, are you really comparing a sperm to a developing babe? No. Yeah. Are you really equivocating a sperm to a developing babe? Like, that is like that is like the strangest equivocation ever. It's like you're telling me that there's a possibility of a sperm cell that by itself would develop into a human fetus. You need both the egg and the sperm, and then there goes that conception. Regardless of how you feel about a fetus, whether you think it is a human or not, the crux of the issue is using someone else's body for survival. Well, to me, that would be like comparing a fetus to a parasite. That is again another. That is like comparing apples with oranges, there, lady. That is one thing I can put it. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, the equivocation is there under the same mechanism. Both the parasite and the fetus depend on the host to survive, but they're fundamentally different. Parasites seek parasites seek the detriment of a human being. I can't say the same for a developing fetus. A right that is not a right that is not granted to any other human being. Well, then you should have played it safe now, would you? I mean, in a I'm not trying to be hostile here. If you can I mean, if you consent to sex, then be you better be damn sure that a physiological response has to take place. Now, in terms of contraceptives, I would rather stand on the position of celibacy. But if you really can't hold your rocks off or whatever, then I guess, yeah, you might as well go for contraceptives. Like, between abortion and contraceptives, I think contraceptives are the lesser evil. Oh no, lady, I didn't say that you indeed compared it to a parasite. No, no, no. I mean, I'm not saying that you really did say it, but it just kind of came off that way. It's like the fetus is it's like it's like it's like because well, I don't know about you, But I have seen liberals I mean they imply that in a sense, like the moment you say it is like it's kind of a detriment for the female, because the fetus is depends on the sustenance that the woman gives. So when they argue that way, even in a way that's hostile, it's like they're comparing it to a parasite. Now, I'm not saying you did explicitly compare that to a parasite. Never. I mean, you're a mother of one girl, so I never, I wouldn't think that that was in your mind, really. Yeah, no contraception is indeed 100%. So you blame women for enjoying sex? No, I don't. I don't blame women for enjoying sex. I just think that sex should be done at the right place at the right time. And I already said that if you really can't hold your rocks off together, then you need to. Then yeah, just go wear some contraceptives. Yeah. So does a pregnant woman. So does a pregnant woman. So does a so does a pregnant woman also retain the right to? Yeah, sure. That's bodily autonomy. Sure. I have few children have had an abortion. Really? Um, do you have you experienced side effects of such? I'm curious as to how the side effects of abortion. I'm pretty new on this one. Okay, like I mean, you can be pro-abortion. I'm just gonna stay pro-life. I'm new to the whole pro-abortion versus pro-life shtick. I'm just giving what nuance I have. I'm not claiming to be the arbiter of most, but I appreciate you popping into the side chat and giving me your challenges. At least then I'll be compelled to create better syllogisms. I mean, you've been on this thing for quite some time, so yeah, it's no surprise that you're putting me in my place. Right. By the way, link is in the side chat if you like. You could come up here and speak with me. And I'm doing this because I really can't sleep. I made the best precision. Uh, well, all I'm asking is that you had I made the time I had the abortion. All right. Well, I mean, did you experience some side effects at least? I'm just curious because abortions tend to have side effects, or I don't know. Maybe they did something. They kind of give you some sort of medication that would lessen that. I don't know. Like I don't know how. I don't really know how an abortion process really works. Well, like after the abortion. I heard after abortions you tend to have what? You tend to have more you tend to have more detrimental metabolic changes. Physical and emotional. I mean, you've been through it. I mean, you should know. I'm new to all this. So, at least now that you're here, you can tell me. I'm just here giving my thoughts on it. While I do admit that I am against it. Physical, emotional, physical, emotional, metabolic, any changes at all? Yeah, any I don't regret my decision. Nothing different than pregnancy. Oh, okay. All right. All right. They were exactly the same after I gave birth. All right. Okay. Well then. Insomnia is a beast. I know how that is. I'll tell you something about this. I mean, I'm not sure if I can really classify this as insomnia, but I have tried hard to sleep early. and I did manage to sleep early. Like I was able to pull off a 9 o'clocker, and then somewhere in 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock I wake up, and that's just really really annoying. I mean, because what inspires me to sleep early is my alarm. I want to be able to get up and go, have that morning run or morning jog, just like I don't know every other person trying to get fit and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah. Everyone is different. Yeah, sure. Everyone is different. I also apply that to my patients when I was in the internship. Like, stroke is the same, but stroke ain't the same for every person. Diabetes mellitus ain't the same for every person. So yeah, I applied that. I applied that principle too. You're welcome to come in here. You're welcome to come into the room. Are you on the go or something? This is actually the challenge that I would. This is actually the challenge I will ponder upon. Sure. Why should a potential human have the right to use someone else's body to survive? Well, ladies and gentlemen, since it's only Lady Evan here, I will tell you that you can provide your syllogisms in the comments section. I really appreciate you also coming in here, Lady Evan. It's been kind of low right now. At the moment, on my phone, not on my computer. All right. Well, I hope you're having a good day too there. I just gotta ask right now, as a Filipino man, how fucked up is America right now? Because I have family there, and I need to know how it's going on there because it's really, really. I heard it's bad. I heard it's bad. I mean, it's like I've also heard from Will Kincaid that America is basically over, or America has ended. Regardless how you feel about a fetus, whether you think it's not. Who proves to the issue is using someone else's body for survival. Hmm. I'm honestly scared. Oh, that bad is it? All right. I'm so sorry.
I mean, we had like a couple of I mean we had a trifecta of evening murders 2 weeks ago, but the way you said it was just the way you said it is just this actually concerns me. I'm supposed to be finishing up my immigration to the US. My visa interview is next month. Huh. That is actually rather concerning. I you know what? I ought to I ought to get into the American news situation more often. I basically live in the cave, and I it's funny, like I don't have time. I literally don't have time to watch TV or news because one, I'm busy reading physical therapy materials for the board exam, and then I read my Bible, and I have to get into the gym. And when I try to watch TV or play video games, I'm just yay tired, dude. So my husband is American, so that's where my home's always from. I see. Okay. Well, I know you're an atheist, but we'll keep you in our prayers, lady. Well, we'll pray that you arrive safely to your husband.
Yeah, if anyone will catch this video too at this 35-minute mark, I just like to say this is for uh, a special request for a brother in Christ. Jesse is battling cancer. Now, I heard it's not the metastatic type, but cancer is no joke. So, yeah, do brothers and sisters and the Lord, do pray for him. Pray that he get the best treatment possible, and we pray that the condition doesn't worsen. Jesse has been a good brother in faith, and yeah, I mean he's a keeper. So basically, I'm also kind of killing time here too because Will Kincaid is gonna get into the he's gonna get into the indecent liberty situation. He's gonna be having a stream like 3 hours from now, so that would be like 4:20 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, in my neck of the woods. So yeah, you know what? I think I should get something. How do you feel about IVF clinics? Hang on, let me see IVF clinics. What are IVF clinics? IVF. I don't even know what these are. Infertility clinics, medical procedure whereby an egg is fertilized by sperm in a test tube or elsewhere outside the body. Um, um. To be honest with you, lady, I haven't read much about IVF clinics. Like, I looked at the definition of an IVF. A medical procedure whereby an egg is fertilized by sperm in a test tube. Well, I don't know what to feel about that yet because I haven't read much about IVF clinics. I don't really have a take on that. All I do know is that that's where they get surrogate children, as far as I know. They discard thousands of fertilized eggs every year. Well, that's tragic. But I don't see that as an well, it is an end to life. No, wait, fertilized eggs? Holy shit. Okay. I know where I stand on that now. Wow. What the fuck? Takeaway. Yep, they fertilize multiple eggs and freeze them. Well, the freezing part actually gives me comfort because at least it doesn't freaking it doesn't really well it's like putting food in a refrigerator or freezer. They don't really rot if they're frozen. So yeah, if the parents don't use or donate them, then they're discarded. Damn, they discard thousands of fertilized eggs every year. Goodness me, they're basically playing with the very biophysiological response itself, and they're doing it on test tubes. Now, I think I know where I stand on that. Now, that's just like I don't even have a word to describe it, and I'm pretty much pro life leaning. So, but if it's a human being, then why is it okay to freeze them? Well, freezing them wouldn't necessarily kill. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what brought about IVF clinics. Like I said, I don't have nuances to it. So now I have two challenges. First, why should a human being be why should a human being why should a developing human being be forced to be nourished by the host? And second, um, but if human being, why okay to freeze them? Yeah, concerning an IVF clinic. So now I have two challenges. And no, no, lady, I'm not gonna go to your channel and try to pull a Jenny poo poo on you. Of course not. These are things that I will answer for myself, and at the end of the day, I will help. I will tell you whether or not where my stance is. But I don't see myself turning pro-abortion anytime. I really don't. Like I'm always pro-life. So, lady, this is where you and I will have to disagree. But I do appreciate these questions. I mean, this will now like this will now this now is just telling me that if I wanna defend the pro life movement, that I might as well get familiar with syllogisms too. So I really appreciate that you're actually while these challenges are difficult, you're actually trying to help me think here. That is that is the good side of it. And then the fact that you're taking time to pop into the side chat, I appreciate that too. So yeah, I'm not pulling a Jenny poo poo on you. I would not. And well, you know what? I'm ignorant. There's a lot of things that I don't know yet. Like there are just some things that I stand, and if I want to defend something like quantified in a syllogism, I don't. But it's just that I know that it's wrong. I just can't provide syllogisms for it wrong. Right. The only thing I could say is that it's wrong. Like it's a gut feeling that I have that it's giving me reasons, but I can't quantify it. It's just one of those things. That is why, and because of that, that is why I don't find I don't see myself turning into a pro abortionist anytime. All I know that life is sacred, and as far as IVF clinics is concerned, then I don't think they should be playing with the biophysiological response to sexual activity, in that which then would result to them discarding thousands of fertilized eggs a day. I I don't even know why IVF clinics are set up in the first place. So at this point, at this angle in time, all I'm going to say is that they shouldn't be playing with the biophysiological response of sex if they don't want to have the result of discarding fertilized eggs, thousands of fertilized eggs every time, and we wouldn't be having the discussion if human wife frees them. So yeah. Well, you guys got a challenge. But why does your opinion have the right to dictate someone else's decision about their body? I've read syllogisms about this before, but I forget them. I'm a notoriously forgetful man. Hmm. I'm just having fun in the side chat. So takeaway here says, and good hello takeaway. Um, good morning to you. Praise God. I finally have some nights for me here. Yeah, help this dumb pro life theist get around the great Lady Avon's arguments. I am being stepped on and roasted. Oh no! You know what? I mean, I would be surprised if Jenny Poo Poo actually chimed in here. Like, if she knows where you are and then she just chimes in here. Like, I would have you both contend with each other here. That is, if she's not tired of you and if she's not bent on running from you too. All right. So, takeaway says abortion is murder. The mother has a duty to care for an unborn child, just as the father has a duty to care for a pregnant wife and unborn child. Almost like inviting someone into your home, then shooting them for trespassing. Yeah, there's that too. I don't believe in God, so it's irrelevant to me. Yeah, Linda, you're gonna have to respect the epistemology of Lady Avon over here. You have to argue from her. You have to argue from her worldview. So you have to take a more philosophical and or logical approach in this one. I'm sorry, Linda, but you and I, but as Christians, you and I can agree that life is sacred. So I don't think abortion nor the idea of nor the idea of an IVF clinic should be a thing. I don't know. I mean, is that how sterile people get pregnant? Yeah, dumb question right here. See, Lady Avon is not pulling a Darth Dawkins on you. Yeah, well, if you don't know the duplicitous narcissist already, lady, yeah, he's known to yell at people. He's big and tough for the mod rights, and he's a goody. He's a cordially polite goody two shoes when he's how do I put this? He's a cordially polite goody two shoes if he doesn't have mod rights. So got that going on. Lady Avon is cool. Is cool. Never had any issues with her myself. Yeah, sure. Just some people giving their syllogisms. Yeah. So this is where me and Lady Avon have to agree. Agree to disagree. I'm gonna be pro-life. She's gonna be pro-abortion. Sure. I mean, I did give a syllogism about incising a potentially, not potentially, like right off the gate, as soon as it's delivered, the baby would be stillborn, in contrast to a dying mother. That if the fetus was not incised, then he'd be dead. Then she'd be dead. If we save the babe, they both be dead. If we save the woman, then tragic state of affairs, we have a stillborn babe. And another thing is that this doesn't make me anywhere less of a pro-lifer because, well, and I think this is gonna irk Lady Avon, but I mean that scenario, an abortion, like having to incise a child who who is going to see the world. I mean, I can't imagine myself doing it. Like I can't bring myself to do it. I try not to cause issues with folks. Lol, I turned Darth down when he wanted to join my panel. Let me guess, he was gonna yell at you again. Well, yeah, that's true, Linda. I mean, he wanted to take over Praise's channel. He has been known to rather. I mean, the man is a control freak. He tried to I mean, he. He's basically trying to find a safe space of an echo chamber to lecture people. If he then he tried to do it on Discord, and then Praise played a clip that I think his mods turned against him recently, and Darth was like flailing and whining about it. It's true, lady. It's true. And then
there he came in to praise his channel, and then thinking, oh, it looks like I'm finally here to spread my Van Til gospel, right? No freaking way. Is that true, takeaway? Did you see Praise and Tom talking about Dart throwing babies from planes and permanently disfiguring women with hot coffee? What the hell, dude? Such a ridiculous video. That doesn't surprise me, takeaway. I just, well, we're getting a bit sidetracked here. So yeah, open discussion on abortion. Yeah, Boki, that was the video on Clubhouse. For goodness sakes, Praise, are you really doing this right now? Yeah, I agree with you. Takeaway. Well, this is a pro life corner after all. So yeah, I agree with takeaway. It's murder, and abortion is murder, and even if we take away that legal term, it's still unjust killing. But I would never equate masturbation and menstruation to murder. That's, that is a stupid syllogism. That is a stupid version of comparing apples with oranges. Anyway, how's everybody doing? If you guys came from church, you guys came from wherever it is, I hope you guys are safe. You guys are doing well. Yeah. Lady Avon, what do you think of the oh, this is new. Ectopic pregnancies. I better go look this up too. Man, Lady Avon doing some research. Even the great Saint Ronan is put in the corner. Dang. Ectopic pregnancies. I don't think ectopic is an abortion of a live baby. Ectopic abortion. Ectopic aborta. Ectopic abortion meaning. Are unsafely outside of your uterus, fallopian tubes, and are removed with a medicine called methotrexate or through a laparoscopic surgical procedure. Hmm. Now we have the delicate balance between prescription and over the counters. Because prescription would also include the reasoning and rationality of a doctor or a collective number of doctors. Hmm. Anomaly. It is fatal for both mother and embryo. Yeah, that could be something I could infer on the syllogism I made between saving the dying mother versus the dying baby. And I obviously can't give an arbitrary answer because, I mean, I'm not good with tackling all stuff like that. Unless an abortion is performed, several women have already almost died since abortion was outlawed in several states. Huh. As uncomfortable as it sounds, it appears necessary now. And if it would be, I don't think. Sure, no problem, lady. I mean, if it would be necessary, then
I don't think it's something that people should just have over the counter, because today you have liberals. I mean, it's not even about these. It's not even about these conditions anymore. They all belong in the spectrum of I can't afford to take care of this babe, or my body, my choice. Which that's a fair syllogism, but it's more used on the context of self-centeredness, and it's just. I mean, why couldn't you just use contraceptives? Like, I mean, as a Christian, celibacy is what I would cling to. I will cling to celibacy. But if I were to choose between abortion and contraceptives, then I would rather have contraceptives. Because if abortion side effects are just the same with pregnancy, then why would I have to have my girl suffer through a surgical procedure? I mean, that just makes me a dick. Takeaway, Jess and everybody in the No, I'll talk to pro life Chloe instead. She can get me around these syllogisms. So yes, what is challenge for me is learning for me. So, but what is body autonomy? You retain the right to control. Okay. So I have like I these are questions now I can bring to the plat. So challenges from Lady. One is what is body autonomy? Not really. Why should a potential human being? So here are one of the questions, and yeah, this is really under body autonomy. Bodily autonomy. So why should a potential human being? And as uncomfortable as this makes me. These are actually good syllogisms. And I say good because I can't answer it. Like my stupid brain can't get around that. Why should a potential human being have the right to use someone? Kind of sounds like the violent argument, or I don't know. Maybe you're speaking of something else, Lady Avon. Someone else's body to survive. My stupid brain can't get around this, and I don't have any nuance to this one. But you guys can rest in the fact that I'm actually pro-life. So parasite, but that one, I don't regret my decision. There were exactly moment. Yeah. Uh, what do I think of IVF clinics and ectopic pregnancies? And ectopic pregnancies. All right. These are actually challenges I can take to pro-lifers. Okay, I'm willing to allow abortions for very and life-threatening situations, but that eliminates 98% of all abortions. Bodily autonomy argument doesn't work, just like self-defense doesn't work when you invite someone in your house and then murder them. Hmm, this is actually pretty good. I mean, sure, like if they're gonna use like a bodily autonomy, I mean, ima- like yeah, like even me getting into a fight just has me discarding bodily autonomy to me. Like, I have the right to hurt this person because I want to win. But then why should he suffer through my kicks? And that same standard applies to me. That is why before the fight, we consent to possibly getting injured. No, not possibly. We will get injured. We will get punched in the face. We will have our nose busted open. Yeah, I mean that is exactly what my syllogism entails. Takeaway. I mean, it's about life-threatening situations, and abortion shouldn't be something that is over the counter, where people could just have access to it. It should something only be prescribed. Now, does that mean I'm pro-abortion now? No, not necessarily, because if I have to use that, if I have to, because the only time when something like that has to take place if is when we're at a very undesirable circumstance. So yeah, undesirable circumstances would where it would require me to where it would require me to use the process of abortion is the last thing I want. So I don't want that. I really don't. That's the last thing I want. I mean, but in terms of the dilemma that I had, the abortion process would be would be an what I would term as an unwanted necessity. Yeah, ectopic pregnancies are shit, and I think pregnancies are shit. So yeah, we're at a very shit situation where I have to do what I believe is a shit thing to do because I mean that babe could have, although the world is not, although the world is it's getting dark and dreary right now. There's still sunlight in the other side. It's just I think these are things we call a lot happened that we never wanted. Fight MMA long enough and you gotta get your nose broken. Takeaway: I got my nose nearly broken in sparring. The guy hit me with a clean shot to the side of my face. I'm just glad it wasn't right on my nose. It was a really clean straight. This is true. This is true. This is true. Yeah. And the mere fact that we want 98% of all abortions eliminated, yeah, that still makes us pro life. That doesn't make us pro abortionists. But most of the abortions that are happening now is due to unprotected sex. Ectopic pregnancies are, yeah. I wonder if it would also be tragic for the child that he had to be excised from the fallopian tube. Like, that is an anomaly of undesirable proportions. Hmm. I agree, takeaway. Most abortions are elective, not medical necessity. Yeah, that's pretty much the state of everything right now. They think they could just walk into a clinic and boop 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 there.
It's it's such a waste of life. And the thing is, it should be the diseases that should be abhorred, not people going under it. But they actually brought this on themselves. Wow. This is just, yeah, I would say that abortion should be only under the spectrum of unwanted medical necessities. I would put it that way, because an unwanted medical necessity is the last thing I want happening. So yeah, I have failed to interlock with Lady Avon and support my case that abortion is wrong. But at least I'm learning from these challenges that put me in my place. Oh, anyway, and the real reason why is that I'm not really sleepy yet, because yesterday and even this morning I just continued sleeping and sleeping and sleeping because I was on the vaccination side effects situation. So I guess you guys know where I'm coming from. It's currently 12:52 in the afternoon for you guys there. I mean, if you're in Houston or Texas. No. No. What do you mean Houston or Texas, Pokey? Houston is in Texas. Stupid plunker. Stupid Filipino plunker. Alright. I wish somebody like Hosea would have lived so that, like, if they knew, I mean, if he knew that some girls would get ectopic pregnancies, and he would just plead to the Lord, Lord, give them a miscarrying womb where no conceptualized, no conception, no no form of reproduction can take place, because this woman is going to have an ectopic pregnancy. Yeah, if Hosea were alive today, he would say, Lord, give them a miscarrying womb. And the idea of that is to keep the woman sterile, that no conception of life would take place. He didn't say give them a miscarriage, he gave them a miscarrying womb, that the reproductive process will not push through. And I'm going to prove that to you by opening a commentary that I read upon. Right. Now, what I know that Lady Avon will not do is that I mean, and I know this because she's also an atheist, she will not argue from the Bible to, uh, or I don't know, maybe she would, right? I mean, if she's talking to some fundy Pentecostal who is a hyper literalist, yeah, I think that would be the only semblance of uh, Lady Avon using scripture at some point. Now, an abortion and ectopic pregnancies, yeah, very both undesirable outcomes, even for me. So, yeah, I have to disagree there. I am pro life, and I will remain pro life. That is my conviction in the Lord, too. Okay, so Hosea 9, because I want to share to you guys a commentary I did. No, I didn't do this commentary, I read this commentary.
Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breasts. Yes, and dry breasts where milk would not reproduce was a sign of a woman sterile. So let's take a look. This is barrenness. The context here is the woman be barren, not actually have a miscarriage. There's a difference there. There's a difference between a miscarrying womb and a miscarriage. I need to close some windows because it's slowing the dang thing down. So let me share to you guys some commentary. Give them a miscarrying womb. And this is done better with Barnes and Gills. Yeah, let's read from Barnes and Matthew Poole. So let me just share Bible Hub with you guys. And I think I'm just gonna end it here. So this is Hosea 9 verse 14. Give them, O Lord, what wilt thou give? Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breasts. Right? So here we are. Well, we'll not read a lot of it. I'm just gonna read in the commentary. So hang on. We're just gonna read in some commentaries. And yes, I will not leave out pulpit. Better universal childlessness than that of the offspring should be exposed to so terrible a fate. Yeah, I will get onto this more. So Barnes notes in the Bible concerning Hosea chapter 9 verse 14. So it says here, give them a miscarrying womb. The prophet prays for Israel and debates with himself what he can ask for. Amid this their determined wickedness and God's judgments. Since Ephraim was to bring forth children to the murderer, then it was mercy to ask for them that they may have no children. Since such are the evils which await their children, grant them, O Lord, as a blessing, the sorrows of barrenness. See? What God had before pronounced as a punishment should, as compared to other evils, be a mercy and an object of prayer. So our Lord pronounces as to the destruction of Jerusalem. Behold, the days are coming in which they will say, blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bare, and the paps that never gave suck. Luke 23, verse 29. O unhappy fruitfulness and fruitful unhappiness, compared with which barrenness, which among them was accounted a curse, became blessedness. So yeah, the siege in Ephraim by the Chaldeans, barren women were a blessing because they wouldn't just be uh, delivering their children to a terrible fate. They wouldn't. I mean, they would have just have their kids be fodder for the blades of the Chaldeans, and these Chaldeans were so brutish that they would actually punch pregnant women, thereby, how do I put this? Thereby, thereby stopping the development. Like the Chaldeans don't choose. They will basically fuck you up. Give a miscarrying of two evils he chooses the least. So great will be the calamity that barrenness will be a blessing, though usually counted a great misfortune. Yes, because progeny is something that is celebrated. Matthew Poole, give them a miscarrying womb. The days are coming when the barren womb will be a blessing. Give this, O Lord. It is less misery to have none than to have all our children murdered by by a barbarous army. And these were the Chaldeans. No, not the Chaldeans. I think these were the Assyrians. Or I don't know. Chaldeans or Syrians, they're it's in there. It's between that one. So give them a miscarrying womb and dry breasts, the latter being a sign of the former, as physicians observe, or the words may be rendered disjunctively. Give them one or the other. That is to the wives of the people of Israel. If they conceive, let them miscarry, prove abortive, rather than being forth children to be destroyed in such a cruel manner by murderers. This is how Gill looks at it. Or if they bear them to the birth and bring them forth, let their breasts be dried up and afford no milk for their nourishment, and so die for lack of it, rather than fall into the hands of their merciless enemies. Thus, of two evils, the prophet chooses and prays for the least. Some interpret this as a prediction of what would be, or an imprecation of it, but it rather seems a pathetic wish flowing from the tender affection. So, dry breasts. Some interpret this as a prediction of what would be, or an imprecation of it, but it rather seems a pathetic wish, flowing from the tender affection of the prophet, judging such a case to be preferable to the former. So, where was that part where it gave the symptom of a. Yeah, it's actually the Chaldeans, and they're the Assyrians. Yeah, these were a brutish, barbarous army. Okay. Dry breast. Now, dry breast, not to starve the children born, but it is a further explication of the former. Dry breasts are symptoms of a barren womb, whether by abortion or non-conception by one or the other. Prevent these woeful effects of our enemies' unjust rage, and of thy most righteous. So yeah, the idea of a miscarrying womb here is the idea of barrenness. Blessed are the barren, or the paps that never gave suck. What about Pulpit, my favorite commentator on subjects like this, especially in exegeticals? Oh, he's not here, fine. Okay. And Brother Shep, welcome to the stream. Link is in the side chat if you want to come in. Abortion, the topic of the day that is abortion, and as a pro-life, I think abortion is reprehensible, and it should only be a what I would call an unwanted medical necessity. That that I mean, like that would be the last but undesirable recourse. I mean, an an an, an atropic pregnancy and abortion are the last two things that I want to happen. But abortions like over the counter, yeah, that's yeah. Like abortion. I mean, abortions today, like what Takeaway said, it's elective. Like abortions don't happen. Abortions happen not just because of unwanted unwanted physiological pathological circumstances. It's now about my body, my choice. I can't afford this child. Let's not have safe sex. Blah blah blah. It's more self-centered now. They care more about just rubbing their rocks off instead of considering the fact that I mean it's also a pain in the ass that like if you're I mean if you can't be disciplined enough to hold your balls together and you really want to stick your if you really want to stick your chorizo into the empanada, then wear a contraceptive. I mean, it would even save you. It would save you. It would save you the trouble of having to go through a surgical procedure. And need I remind you, folks, that surgical procedures also have side effects. They can damage your tissues. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So, in the case of an ectopic abortion, unless an abortion is performed, several women have already almost died since abortion was outlawed in several states. Yes, yes, yes. 2 hours late, but we made it. Well, glad of you to come in here. So, by the way, Shep, link is in the side chat if you want to chime in. I, I'll just repost it again so that you could click on it, and I'll highlight it again. So there you go. There you go. Bodily autonomy argument does not work, just like self defense doesn't work when you invite some. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Hello, Brother Shep. You need to get your mic
My
fixed.
mic, yeah.
There you go. I hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been challenged by Lady Avon here, and yes, I do. I would say I do appreciate her coming into the stream so that, uh, yeah, we do need our views to be challenged so that we could defend it better. But thanks to the presence of Takeaway here, he managed to raise some very valid points. So yes, I.
I think the main issue with this whole abortion thing is it's not
Mm,
about abortion.
mhm. What do you
When
think
you
it is?
really get down to it, it's not about abortion. It's about men should not have opinions about abortion because we don't give birth. I mean,
Well,
that sounds snide, but it's really not. I mean,
mhm.
that's really the point that I'm getting from a lot of women on this subject. They want it to be their decision. Okay, it's your decision. But my opinion is it shouldn't be used as a contraceptive.
Yeah, me too. You shouldn't use
Abortion should
abortion
only,
as.
I'm sorry, abortion should only
Well,
be used as a life saving implement.
mm, yes.
A tubular birth, a rape, a child who's pregnant because of a rape. These things are why abortion is necessary, life threatening, either to the mother or the child.
Mhm.
When it comes down to a decision, what's more important, the child or the mother? Um, I think that should be left up to the mother having the child. If she wants to give her life up for the child that she's having, that's her decision.
Yeah,
But I
it's.
don't think that my tax dollars should be used for contraceptive.
Mm,
Period. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
right. Well, Kincaid.
This is just one man's opinion.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, this is why I chose. I mean, this is why I'm also for
Yeah,
contraceptives
you're gonna
because
get out of it.
as as a pro lifer, I mean, having the need for an abortion is the last thing I want. So I don't. I don't. I mean, if you can't hold your rock soft, then just wear a contraceptive, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the woman is pro-life, well, praise God that that child will develop and live. Now, pregnancy concerning rape, that to me right there is more controversial because although yeah, you got raped and you got pregnant, why should the babe suffer for the crime of the rapist? I
It
mean, if you
depends.
can't take care of it, yeah.
Well, that again, it depends. Who is the person? Who is the woman that got pregnant? Is it a woman? Is it a young adult? Is it a
Mhm.
child?
Yeah.
There's the circumstances dictate decisions.
Mm.
I kind of look at it like we have to pair every situation like Solomon did with the two wives that were fighting over the child.
Mm.
And he's like, "Oh, go ahead, cut the child in half and give it to the two wives. Give each wife a half of the child." Now, people look at that and they don't have any understanding. They're like, "Well, how cruel can he be to cut a child in half?" No, he wanted the reaction to find
Yeah.
out who the real mother was.
Hmm.
So you have to make critical decisions like this when it comes to really deep life decisions such as these. My
Mm.
ex-wife had an abortion and I had to sit outside while she did it because I refused to go in. I refused to have any
Hmm.
part of it. But I cannot
Right.
tell someone else what to do with themselves. I can argue the point, I can fight, I can divorce, I can do all that. But in the end,
Right.
my decision doesn't affect the person who is being affected by the situation directly. And they're the ones that have to make that decision. So where
Yeah.
am I left? Where am I left in that situation? Well, I'm left with prayer,
Hmm.
supplication, and that's where I stand.
Yeah. This is what sin breeds, brother. It brings us to do unwanted necessities. Like I can deal with a punk just causing trouble, but to kill a to kill a kid that that hasn't even seen, yeah, sure, the world can be dark and dreary, but there's light in the other side. And not only that, I mean, the judgment that Israel the judgment that Israel brought upon themselves, like when I reference Hosea 9 verse 14, where the Assyrians were so brutish, they spared nobody. And they would gut punch pregnant women. This is what their mistake breeds. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, yeah, the fetus was innocent, but it was it was by their decision that has led them to such a predicament. Yeah, like you said, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And then you could say like, well, me being able to afford this Nike has nothing to do with the situation at hand. Who cares? Circumstances will take things. Circumstances will take away. Will take stuff away from you. Doesn't choose. And you go to the book of Lamentations, because they were so besieged, they had to eat and make soup out of their babes.
Mm.
All because they were so debaucherous. Instead of choosing life, they chose death. Now, not as to say that I blame people for having sex. Like, I mean, that, don't get me wrong, it's pleasurable, and then even I myself want to know the wonders of union between a man
Well,
and a female.
to
But
me, I see it. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it
sure.
takes me back to that one law that was described in the, I forget the correct term for it, but it was the laws that of Noah.
Mm,
And one of them was about procreation, and that
mm,
it was a very sacred thing. It wasn't, sex was not something that was meant to be frivolous or, just wanton, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't meant to be just, something to feel good. Yes,
yeah.
it does feel good, but it wasn't
Mhm.
meant for that. It was meant for reproduction. It was meant for, you know, creating life to fill this world. And I see clear examples of how Satan takes and uses what God's law to the opposite of what it's meant. And this whole abortion and sex thing is a clear example of that. He perverts everything about what God does, and it it just is so clear with this because he uses what we like the most
Mhm.
against us.
Yeah. Uh, you know what precedence I can give to that? My video games.
Yeah,
It's supposed to make me feel good. It's supposed to entertain me for a time, and then sometimes it's supposed to have me fun kill time. But I never wanted it for it to be detrimental to my decisions or my significant effects in life. But you're right,
Noah
Satan
had
ruins
laws,
everything.
yes.
Yeah. But you're right, Satan ruins everything. I mean, and you know what, Shep? Who knows? Like, I'm helping patients out and I'm getting paid, but what if I had a family and then all I ever look at is work now? Like, Satan can even take the ones that are morally good and turn it into something evil to its core.
Yeah, and how he does that, our biggest downfall, I think, is our ego. And I go
Mm.
back to that every single time because that is what caused Satan to fall, was his own ego. And this is just my opinion, okay? I'm not saying this is fact. This is just my opinion, how I read it and how I view it. Satan being the most beautiful creation that God had created got egotistical because of that fact. And he's like, wow, I'm the best out of all of God's creation. I'm the most beautiful. I'm the most intelligent. I am the bright and morning star. And then God said, okay, let's make man in our image. Wait, what? Your image? What about me?
Hmm.
And that's where Satan's ego stepped in. So I'm wondering if Satan wasn't a little bit like us and had free will. I'm wondering if he was the only angel that had free will in this sense. And us being the same with free will, he recognized that ego and he said, okay, I'm going to use this against him. And so he went to Eve and he used her ego against her. Really? God said you would die? You're not going to die. He just knows you're going to be like him if you eat it. Oh, I'll be like God? Ego.
Hmm. Hmm.
Maybe I'm
What was
just weird, though.
Hmm.
And everything, if you really look at it, you can pinpoint everything back to ego. Every decision that we make. We might think that we're making a decision for good to do for someone else, but really, are you doing it for someone else? Are you not doing
Yeah,
this good deed so that it'll make you look good? Make you feel good, at least? Let's take the whole looking good out of it. It makes you
sure.
feel good to do a good
Hmm.
deed. That's still egotistical.
Yep.
So when we make these decisions about, oh, well, we've got abortion now, I can just use this as a contraceptive and I'll never have to go get condoms or take a pill or anything. Ego.
Ego. It's yeah. I mean, we tend to worship our emotions more. Now, I can see why God, of all the sins that He put forth in Proverbs, He hated pride the most,
Yes.
because it would also cause you to worship yourself, and yes, emotionally.
Yeah.
But you really gotta find it funny, right? Why would Satan concern himself with us? And
Jealousy.
yeah, the fact that you mentioned free will is because
Ego.
Satan, yeah,
Jealousy comes from
Satan,
ego.
yeah,
I'm telling you, man, it's all
Satan,
ego.
yeah, Satan couldn't have the one thing that God gave us, which is free will. That's why he's coming after us. That's why
Is it that he
he's
didn't have free will, or is it that he didn't understand free will until he recognized it in us?
perhaps. That's a better question.
Because before us, he was, he was happy and content with his job, from what I understand.
Mhm.
And then when God made us, it was, I don't know. I mean, I keep reading these things, and I don't know whether to believe them or not about wars in heaven, and then Satan being cast down with a third of the angels because of this war in heaven, and you have to wonder about those things.
Mhm.
Lucifer was, um, what's the word I'm looking for? He was influential enough to take a third of God's angels with him.
Dang.
I mean, think about that.
I mean, didn't I mean he wasn't he appointed as commander of the angels or captain?
No, I think Michael had always held that title,
Mm.
but I think that Lucifer was, he was considered the bright and morning star. He was like the number one angel, and then he fell from his grace because of his ego. He said, hey, well, I'm like God. I'll just be better than God. I'll make me a throne higher than God's throne. These kind of thoughts entered his head.
Mhm.
So I think to me that sounds like that free will existed in him. Now I don't know about the other angels. I don't know what could he do to influence a third, and a third of how many angels we don't know. So it's got to be a great number of angels. Satan didn't think we were worthy of God's love and grace. He is the great accuser. That's true.
Mm.
Another example of ego. You're not worthy. I am. Why should you get God's love and grace? Look at me. I'm better than you.
Mhm.
I'm Lucifer. I am the bright and morning star. Why should God give his love to you and his grace to you? I'm the best creation he made. Maybe I just think weird.
Well, you may think you're weird, but to me, you're giving solid commentary on this one. Well, not scholarly, but yeah, this is solid commentary.
Yeah, no, don't ever put scholarly after my name. Maybe Common Man or Murphy's Law, but
I'm just gonna say you're making good, solid commentary here. This is the kind of thing also that triggered the Pharisees.
yeah, I just
They,
like to make common sense out of things.
and you know what? It takes common sense to make solid commentary. See what I did there?
Yeah,
But you're right, though. Yeah, this is why pride is in God's hate list. Like it's at top one of God's hate list, because to satisfy your pride, you're willing to do anything. Now, let's not conflate jealousy with sin, because God is a jealous God. So if I was jealous of a good example, and that was something worthy of praise and worthy of glory, why shouldn't I be? I mean, look at him. But if your
right,
jealousy or envy causes you to sin, then that's the issue right there.
right. I mean,
That is,
even hate is mentioned
mm-hmm,
in the Bible that God hated. He hated Esau.
mm-hmm,
Oh, wait, yeah, he hated Esau.
mm-hmm.
Was it a sin for him to hate Esau? No.
No,
But if we turn that hate into something that vilifies our own ego, then it becomes sin.
true. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
then we're seeking some sort of satisfaction within ourselves to justify how we feel. And if we can make an accusation and make it hold, then we're justified in our feeling.
that is that is the exact same thing that was going on with the detractors of Daniel in chapter 6. You know the famous story where Daniel was thrown into the was that chapter 6 or
Hmm.
chapter 7? I don't recall.
I
Yeah,
think I think
but
you're right. 6.
yeah, but they acted upon their ego. They didn't
Mm.
like Daniel. That like I mean, sure. I mean, that doesn't constitute to all of it, but that was enough to have them set to find a charge against Daniel. Let's find something we could use to gossip on Daniel, so we could put him in his place. And Daniel proved himself to be loyal. So later in the chapter, some verse, he they were gonna make this bullshit law like nobody gives references to God or other gods except you, my king. And if anybody does otherwise, they'll be cast into the den of lions.
I'll be right back.
Sure. Saint beloved, good of you to show up here. Pro choice is deception, and its purpose is to deflect what they actually are. They are pro mothers killing their own children. That's the truth. Yeah, I mean, I get the fundamental there. It's
I would also say the movement of abusing sex, because feeling good is not the only thing that constitutes to sex. I mean, sex is this is why God deems sex something sacred, that you can't just go in there and blow someone's rocks off just to feel good. Sex has context. Sex has a sense of belongingness. Sex has like all I know is that it is the one thing that it is. That's not the only thing that I can infer to the rest of it, because it just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't give you union between you and your lover. It creates life. And it's just,
All right, sorry, I'm back.
sure, it's fine. Saint Beloved is chiming in. Pro choice is a deception. Yes. The one thing that really grinds my gears is that they say it's just a clump of cells. And yeah, as egoistic I can get, I would say you were that clump of cells before. Like even in the spectrum of good, where I am against such a debaucherous thing, I'd be like, hang on, are you arguing for the unborn, or are you arguing because it doesn't fit on your leanings? Maybe that's why I'm unable to argue properly, because I want to feel good what I do, not because of something that I assess objectively. Wow, running a podcast and a glass of water never tasted so good. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, if you want to blow your rocks off, I mean, this is. I was gonna say something like this. All goes back to what I had the talk we had with the smokes. Like it's not enough to just legislate something. You can't just outlaw abortion and expect that everything is just going to be hunky dory. The the people must hear and adhere to that standard where you can't just play around with sex. You can't just you can't just focus on the feel good aspect on that. I mean, knowing what it offers and knowing what it can do should tell you enough that you can't just go around having one night stands. And if you really can't help yourself, wear some contraceptives, man. We already have enough unborn babes killed and countless women going through having to go through this surgical procedure. And need I remind you guys, incisions aren't all they're not they don't come off smooth, okay?
especially when it's invasive, you will, you mean, expect to have internal tissue damage. How do I know that? In our in physical therapy, we tackle surgeries. Now, I'm not saying we're not in the surgical room doing the surgeries, but we have roles, pre-surgery and post-surgery. Why? Because surgeries has adverse side effects, tissue damage, incisions, depending on the site, depending on the degree, depending what had to be sacrificed, depending on the condition, scarring of internal organs. If you can't hold your rocks off, then at least spare your girl from having to go through such a surgical process. Now, as painful as I would say it, that should be a unwanted but medical necessity. That should be a undesirable last recourse. And now everybody is like whining and crying, not getting their abortions, as if they equate it to having what? Ectopic pregnancies, which is which is which is to me, although undesirable, should be one of the cases that abortion should happen. It would kill the mother, it would kill the child too. But no, these these emotion euphoria worshipping leftards don't, well, when I mean leftards, I'm not saying leftists as a whole. I mean, I don't speak for all leftists, but leftards, on the other hand, they just, I mean,
Yes. Sadly, that's never going to happen, Pokey. People are too egotistical. They're too caught up in their own emotions. They're too caught up in their own feel goods. And as long as that's going on, people are going to do what they're going to do. As long as they can satisfy their own self gratifications,
mhm.
they're not going to pay attention to the consequences. And that's the sad part. And I don't think it can get any much sadder than that.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, and concerning outlawing or taking the legalist path. Um, if we could have a culture that would look at abortion the same thing as they look at bullying. Like, bullying is such a concerning matter that there doesn't that there doesn't I mean there's no need to have a law against bullying. Like, we all know that bullying is reprehensible. So, I mean, do you really need a law against that? We all, like, they see that as an immoral thing. So yeah, but you know what? Yeah, you're right. It's not going to happen. And even
Yeah.
if we outlaw them, then even if they were the majority, there's no guarantee that the minority won't be doing it underground.
Yeah, even with the laws, it's still going to happen.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
will, and then they
if you
will.
outlaw bullying, yeah, you're going to have a whole lot of bullying go down, but then you're
Yeah,
still going to have bullying happening, in the outskirts, I guess you could say, where it's
yeah,
not so publicly uh, demanding that it not, happen, or that it becomes so publicly demanding that it's a thing to be broadcast because it's happening so much and affecting so many people. You know, We live in two worlds. One where we live as Christians and do the best we can for each other and do what is right according to the word, what God needs us to do, wants us to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the world where ego lives, where every single one of us want only what we want for ourselves.
Well, I'm not saying, and then, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys know that we're not saying that it's wrong to desire things and go after things that you want, but don't take it to the point where it's self-centered or your motives are rather more secondary than intrinsic and primary. And before you even do anything at all, you just gotta ask yourself, what am I doing this for? If you're willing to look beyond that and just go upon whim, I think that would be enough to say that you only worship your emotions. I mean, me personally, I engage in martial arts because I love it. I'm not doing it to impress people. I mean, that's just me. And God willing, if I get skilled enough, I could use it to fight for those that can't fight for themselves. And yes, I will take part in competition, sure. There's nothing wrong with that. But in the midst of those three things, those three variables, I have to check myself. Why am I doing this? Why do I have to put my dukes up? Is this fight worth it? Should I just go back and train and wait for an even wait for a fight that has more than just its prize? I don't know. Am I doing just to be a tough guy, or you get what I mean? Unworthy motives.
Yep.
Yeah. There's one thing I also know. Tough guys aren't the ones you see in the movies. They're usually quiet. Am I right, Shep?
Yeah, I believe that.
You believe that. But am I really right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I
All right,
believe that.
then.
I believe the quietest man in the room is the wisest.
And the most dangerous.
True.
Hmm. Yeah. Wait, Saint Beloved had a kid by 16? All right. We can educate kids with facts about sex. Yeah, you know what? We actually had sex education in high school.
Mm.
Yeah, they told us. I mean, for me as a man and as Christian, I know damn well that I could try, but if there's one thing that celibacy is keeping me from doing, is to have me do the unthinkable. And what I mean by unthinkable is that in my angle, it will it would affect me for life. Because if I get a girl pregnant and outside of marriage, not only do I unglorify God, not only do I defile the sanctity of marriage, I also send a
bad message to everyone around me. And you know something else? It's, I think I lost in thought. All I know is that I can't be doing stuff like that. I can't just go doot de doot de doo and da da dum da da dum da da dum and everything is fine.
Yep.
I mean, you do realize that women are our mothers, our aunts, our sisters, our nieces, girlfriends. Well, fundamentally different from me here, but and then you're just gonna what? If there's one thing I know, if there's one thing I know from women, and I've actually talked to women about this, who've got in relationships, is that, well, from my uncles, they say that to a guy, the ratio of a man is 1 to 20. You should at least meet 20 girls, not necessarily sleep with them. But I think girls also like that one and only kind of thing. Right? Like, you're my first and you're my last. Now, I don't know about all the women right now, but I would say, I would say, uh, look, I know you had a lot of men before,
Here's your
but I'll
litmus
tell
test. Here's your litmus test.
you, yeah,
You ask her, have you ever watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians? If she says no, snatch her up.
sure.
That's half a joke.
Jokes are half meant. But I will tell her this. I've been single for quite some time, so if it's any compensation, tell you what, perhaps I'm not your first man, but you are my first girl.
Hmm.
Don't tell me she's gonna be all jumpy and gittery with that. You can't tell me she won't get all jumpy and jittery with that. She's gonna feel like a princess. And you know something else? I'm a fresher catch than any fish in the market. And you better
Yeah,
believe it.
there you
Yeah. Saint beloved. Hang on. He says here. God commands you to not have sex outside of marriage for a reason. We can look at the overall fruits of sex outside of marriage and logically observe it's better to keep sex in marriage. Yes,
Well, yeah,
like I
it goes
said.
all back to the Noahide laws.
Mhm.
Sex was meant for reproduction, and that
Yeah.
alone. I don't, and I really, to be honest, I don't see anything in the Bible where it says you're supposed to have one wife, one husband. But it does say that sex is for reproduction. I mean, Noah had more than one wife. Moses had more than one wife. David had more than one wife. Solomon had more than one wife. So I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is, are they having sex outside the marriage?
Mm. Yeah. I mean, you're not about to justify polygamy, right?
No, no, not in that sense. But I don't
Mm.
think God particularly cares whether we're married to one person or multiple people, as long as it's that it's a very tricky subject right there. But as far as I can see, the only thing I see closely related to it is in the New Testament when, Paul says, I'd rather you marry than burn. That's it.
Hmm.
Even Jesus, when he confronted the Samaritan woman at the well, he said, "Where is your husband?" And she says, "I have no husband." And he said, "You answered correctly because you've had 3 husbands." I don't think the number is the issue. I think it's the relationship. What is the relationship there?
Yes.
Because, I mean, you look at these cultures in the East where they have many wives. One wife might be the head wife, the head mother, and she takes care of the whole house, and she directs the other wives in their jobs. Like one might be in charge of cooking, and another one might be in charge of cleaning the house. Another one might be in charge of, this, or, the next one that. That's just it's just something that I've thought about as far as just the knowledge of it, wondering, what does it mean? But as far as it being a thing that should be practiced, no, I don't think so. Not in our day and age.
Well, I don't think polygamy was also in the mind of God, because he did say marriage is between a man and a woman,
Yes.
not women. So I got that going on. So
Yeah. Then
I'm
there's
gonna go find the one.
that.
Yeah, because by name, I mean it's. I mean it, I mean it's
But
easy to be
how
called a.
many how many times did God scold Solomon for how many wives he had, or David, or I mean,
I
sure,
really
he got onto him for the reasons that he became married to him.
don't. Yeah.
What was it? David killed a man for his wife, or was going to kill a man for his wife, or something. I think he sent him away to be killed. Like he was sure going to die in this battle or something, and he took the man's wife. Then I think the reasons they take wives can be an issue, but I don't think the
Yeah.
number is an issue. But I don't condone it.
Mhm.
I think I'm
Yeah,
just looking at it objectively, maybe. Maybe that's what I'm doing.
That's more likely. That's more likely. I mean, because I was about to say it's easy to be called somebody's wife or somebody's husband, but are you really ontologically a wife or a husband? Like, is there that semblance of an actual husband and wife relationship? Like, you're not just going by the name, you really are intrinsically and extrinsically demonstrating it.
Right.
Here we are, yeah, here we are now trying to tap into the essence of the relationship of an actual husband and wife relationship. I mean, are you not just by name or by law married? I mean, are you really into this union? And you know something else, because of the one night stand culture, we don't see that anymore. I mean, we do, but it's getting rare now.
Yeah, I've never been a big supporter of marriage as far as it being a thing that's approved because of a piece of paper. I think that it has to be a thing between the couple and God. I don't think a piece of paper makes you married other than to man.
Mm.
Yeah, that is the fundamental difference between a constitutional marriage and a marriage set before God, set by God. Because because a document can't see through your relationship. God can.
Exactly.
Mhm. Well, if it's any consolation to the women out there, I do sincerely still believe in serenades, and I would walk up to your house, and you come out there with your Rapunzel looking angle, and I'd sing you and then I
Boki will
I
be there with his boombox on his shoulder.
oh jeez, that's not appropriate.
And I tell you this, you may not understand what I'm saying, but I'll tell you this: I'll be singing you one of the most romantic Filipino songs. I can't render it in English because I'm bad at my Tagalog, but I think you'll understand the message relay situation. Relay situation.
I noticed they're turning a lot of the throat singing into metal now in Japan. But it's not
Yeah.
bad. I mean, it's not great either, but it's not bad.
Well, I'm about to shut this down. It's 3 minutes to 3 o'clock here, and I
Oh,
gotta get
geez,
some
Boki.
sleep. Yeah, I know. I get it. I'm crazy, and people are crazy when they're young. So yeah, and tomorrow it's back to Muay Thai training. Do pray for me because I'm thinking about getting into the fight in December. So yeah, do pray for me.
Always.
Pray, yeah, help me with making my decision as well. First things first, I have to make the decision whether or not I should fight.
Hmm.
So yeah, have the Lord not help me assess and decide on the situation at hand, and not have me, you know, focus on my ego.
Right.
Rather, really take the situation for what it is, and have me do the best course of action. I mean, I don't know when one is ever ready to fight, but I just pray that the Lord, I just pray for the Lord for that one, and that yeah, I do need spiritual growth because I'm getting really tired of this backsliding pattern. I really want to have a relationship where I know I will stumble, but at least it will be more on the winning side and less on the losing side.
I get that.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget to pray for our brother Jesse Camping. He's battling cancer. He
Yes.
says it's not the metastatic. Yeah, he says it's not the metastatic kind, but cancer is still no joke. So yeah, keep him in your prayers. Do keep Lady Avon in your prayers too. Her interview to migrate to the U.S. is moved next month. Her husband is said to be in one of the U.S. states, so do keep her in your prayers that she'll be able to
Right on.
meet with her husband. I guess also along with her kid, that they reunite safely and in one piece too. Let's pray for Lady Avon. Anyway, any special prayer request, Shep?
No,
No. All right.
no.
All right. Well, so yeah. Okay. So now let's not forget those special prayer requests. And any final words?
I have none other than God bless and just stay out of ego if you can. That's a trap.
Right. Well, I appreciate you coming in here, brother. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Appreciate you sending me the notification. I'm sorry I got it late.
It's all right, dude. I'm always happy to have you in my stream anyway, so don't worry about it.
Well, God bless you, Boki. God bless
God
everybody.
bless you
We'll
too, Shep.
talk to y'all later.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. Beautiful. Right. Beautiful. Okay. So
Thank you guys for popping into the side chat. Thank you also guys for keeping me company here. Lady Avon, thank you for coming here and popping into the side chat too. Thank you also for the challenges that you set before me in the side chats. I do appreciate it. I'm still pro life. That is one thing that you and I will have to have a disagreement with. That's where we disagree. Uh, but I thank you for coming in here anyway. I thank you for coming in to also uh, pop it into the side chat. And I appreciate also the challenges that you give me. So, I mean, at least I'm stepping out of my, at least this is one way to also step out of my own echo chamber too and not get too cognitive dissonant and rather actually, you know, compel me to make a proper syllogism if I want pro life to be reasonable or reasonable for me at least. So, yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's how it is, right? But once again, thank you for. You're literally the first viewer to keep me company. And then there was Takeaway, then there was Lyndon, and then there was Saint Beloved. So yeah, thanks for keeping me company. Thank you also all of you people in the side chat. Final words from me to you. Don't take your salvation for granted and take your sanctification seriously. Peace of Christ be with you. I'll be signing off now in 3, 2, 1.